Hello, family. Welcome back. One second, I'm moving my notebook over here. Welcome back to another live stream. I am Wongel Zelalem, and today we're talking about another coup in the continent of Africa. I'm sure you're saying again. Yes, again. This time around, it's in Guinea-Bissau. And it's quite recent, actually. It happened yesterday. It was a developing story while I was live streaming about something else. So I'm here with the reports today to talk about the recent coup in the continent of Africa, which is in a country called Guinea-Bissau. And the president has been deposed. This is according to him, actually. The first interview he gave was to a French TV station, and his direct quote was, quote, "I have been deposed," end quote. So that's what is happening in Guinea-Bissau. There's actually a lot that has happened from after yesterday's coup d'etat. They currently have a new transitional leader, and that is General, I don't want to butcher his name, General Horta is his name, and he has been sworn in as the transitional president. So, first, let's talk about why Guinea Bissau got to this point and how the coup happened, and also what the people of Guinea Bissau are saying. And we can discuss, we can chat after we talk about that. It's quite crazy. The fact that it happened yesterday and today they have a new transitional president. By the way, the new transitional president was the chief of staff in the army. So, and also to make matters worse for the leader that was deposed, that was his friend. Like they were really close. The guy that overthrew the president is a friend of the president. So Guinea-Bissau had their election on November 23rd, and people voted. It was mostly between the sitting president, Umaro Sisoko Imbalo, and the opposition. His name is Fernando Diaz. So those were the two main people that were running against each other. So the election happened November 3rd, and they were supposed to hear yesterday, which is November 26th, the who the winner was, right? And the coup happened. Hence, we don't know who won, but the people on the ground tend to think, or they're saying from everything that I've gathered, they believe that Diaz should have won, the opposition, not the sitting president, because he is running again, the president that was just deposed, overthrown. So Diaz and I don't want to get his name, Imbalo and Diaz were um, were going against each other for the presidential election, and the people voted, and a lot of them seem to like the opposition better. And the former prime minister actually endorsed Diaz as well. So people are speculating. Okay, here's the thing. Okay, here's the thing. We don't know the details of what really happened, but people, and by people I mean sources from Guinea-Bissau, are claiming that this coup d'etat was actually fake. They believe that the sitting president came up with it. One of those coups that were planned by someone behind the scenes, not necessarily coming from the people or the military. I'm not saying that's what happened, but that's what the people have been saying. And I'll read for you a little bit of what the people have been writing and saying they believe their votes have been taken. They wanted to vote for the opposition, but the president realized that he's not going to win. So he came up with this elaborate coup in talks with the military, of course, because now that the military has taken over. So that's what they're claiming. He came up with this plan behind the scenes to basically give it away or make this coup happen and make people believe that the coup actually happened. And the votes are gone. Like the people, they wanted someone, they're not going to get it, because guess what? The coup d'etat, not only the military, once they took over, they not only detained the sitting president, but they also detained the opposition, who is Diaz, and the person that was endorsing him, the former politician. So it kind of gets weird when you look at it. And the first statement that he gave was also for France. the French TV station. He said, I have been, and I quote, deposed. So it's a little bit tricky on this one, because if that's really the case, then this is not something to celebrate. We talk about, let's say, Burkina Faso, when we talk about coup d'etats that went successfully, at the end of the day, coup d'etats are not ideal. But let's be honest, coup d'etats are not ideal. But when you have a dictator on your hands and they're not moving, they're not willing to let the other person come to leave office and allow democracy to be, observed, someone has to do something about it. And that's exactly what happened with Captain Ibrahim Traore in Burkina Faso. When the coup d'etat happened, people were happy. People were celebrating the fact that this leader seemed to care, and look at what he has done thus far. Even the president of Niger, I was just watching, I think yesterday, he was on a tour in his own country, like going from town to town, and you will not believe how much support he has. In the video, people are cheering him on, and this is not, one of those things where a politician paid something from his pocket to make sure that people make noise and he's seen as popular. No, because they're like ants. Like, the people, they filled the what is it called, the road so much you can't even see faces, because they're like ants. There's so many of them, you know what I mean? So it's clear to see when a coup d'etat happens, because people want change. The military is tired of the leadership. But now this one, I get why people are kind of putting a question mark on it. But at the end of the day, if that's the case, we hope that the people of Guinea-Bissau stand up and say no, because they already have taken power, because the transitional president has been sworn in, and his name is General Horta. And that's one day. That's also a little bit fast, like from our experience, seeing how these things unfold and happen. Yesterday was the coup, and today they have a new transitional president. But we will follow up. We will see if this coup was an actual coup that's going to make change, bring about good change, but also, if it's not, it needs to be called out, and we need to talk about it. And AU actually made a statement. I was just reading up on their statement, and they said they condemned what has happened in Guinea-Bissau, and they've also requested for the military to release the president, the opposition, and everybody that they have detained. It is going to be interesting to follow up on this story. But yeah, let's hear it from you guys. Let me see. Someone said they are not. Paris said they are not playing. Yes. As Isaac said, I hope this new leader is like Traore. I really hope so too. But the word on the street is he might not be. He might just be a plant. He might be, one of those fake concocted people that were put in place for a reason. I really hope that's not the case, for the sake of the people of Guinea, of course, Guinea-Bissau. And Guinea-Bissau, by the way, has resources. They have over 2 million population, and they're not even like a lot, right? 2 million. It's not a lot. If you look at other African countries, like, we're many, yeah, right? Like Ethiopia, for example, is over 110 million. I think about 120 million population, right? So 2 million is not a lot. So yeah, but I want to show you. But first, oh, I forgot to show you what the president. This was the election. You see people are voting, very happy, thinking that their votes count. This is the deposed president, as you can see. And these are the military officers that took over. So this is where we're at right now. Just to let me read for you all the resources Guinea-Bissau has. This is according to which site is this? Guinea-Bissau primary natural resources include, this is a potential actually, mineral deposits like, I don't know how to pronounce this, bauxite, phosphate, mineral sands, and offshore oil and gas. It's important to bring this up because, whenever there's something going on, you have to ask, what does that country have to offer? And also, by the way, Guinea-Bissau was seen as like the place to pass through for drug trafficking. Unfortunately, from a lot of Latin countries, from those countries, the drugs come through because Guinea-Bissau is right at the shore, like they're right at the ocean. So yeah. Um, so the Love podcast said, "This is why I don't want to be any part of them anymore, because they don't want to be in the way of the people that are making the decisions for peace and prosperity in the country and everyone." I don't know who we're talking about. Are we talking about the military officers that took over, or the greedy leaders? Um, Africa, someone said Africa doesn't have countries but states. I wish, like in reality, that's not the case. That's what we're fighting for. We want to be one Africa. But as of now, Africa has, 54 countries. And if you count some people don't want to count 55. So, yeah. The Love podcast said, and you should demand one continent. And that's what we've been demanding. We've been asking, we've been demanding, we've been, even when it comes to African Union, it's a conversation that we need to push for that. African Union should have power. It's just for now, it's just there, it's there, but that's it, right? So, well, I've seen the agendas they come up with is good. Okay, they address the issue in the agenda, but like on the ground, are we really seeing change is the question. um um yeah. So one nation, I agree with you. One nation, united Africa would be great. Would be great, to be honest, because there's power in unity, and it's not just a saying. Some people are tired of hearing that. I get it. I get it. We've said that quite often. But then, how else do you change, right? You have to keep talking about it. Try to change your ways, and we're gonna see some change. Hopefully, with the unity, like we're seeing, for example, the Sahel Alliance, right? We always talk about them because they're a great example. Niger, Burkina Faso, and Mali, they have made a pact. They're really not just talking about it. They're not just yapping, just like, some other countries that we know of, but they're doing it on the ground, right? So it is happening, but very slowly, very, very, very slowly, I would say. So Guinea-Bissau was formerly under Portuguese control. Yes, Todd, you are right. They were. And even Portuguese government has made a statement and said they do not agree with what happened, and they asked for the release of the president. Um, Africa is the continent that have at least 54 sovereign countries, I'm assuming. Sovereign and then it cut off. Yes, that is true. Salute Africa. Salute passport. Yeah, that's where we are at right now. And I really look forward, especially if you're from Guinea-Bissau and you're in this chat, please give us more information. From the little that I've heard, the people are not happy with this coup. Like, we've reported on other coups and how people, like, you remember the one I'll never forget is the Gabon's coup d'etat. When it happened, people were celebrating so much that, they were posting videos. So I was able to gather all those videos. The pure joy you'll see on their face, and they went out to celebrate, dancing, singing. They were even what is it called, carrying the military officers on their backs, and it was such a beautiful thing to watch. But this one seemed different, you guys. This one seemed different, and I'm praying that that's not the case, and like these people are mean well, like the military officers that took over mean well. But from what we're hearing, for example, one person wrote, let me just yeah. So someone wrote, all indications suggest that this is a fake coup orchestrated by incumbent President Umaro Sissoco Imbalo to arrest his opponents and consolidate power after clearly losing the elections. According to RFI, the two main opposition figures, Fernando Diaz, who the revolutionary PAIGC endorsed after being banned from running, and Domingos, president of that organization were also arrested. Why would, I think it's a political party. Why would a coup against the president arrest his opposition as well? That's a good question, right? That's a really great question. If it's a coup d'etat, a legitimate coup d'etat, why would they arrest the president, the guy that you're looking at in the screen, but also the opposition was also arrested? And the person that endorsed the opposition is also arrested. Make it make sense. And also, as I said, I keep reminding you, this guy, the president that was overthrown, and the guy that took over now are close. Let that sink in. They're close. I mean, not to say that people can turn around and turn on you. We've seen that, with Thomas Sankara and his friend, or all those visionary and leaders that have been overthrown because their best friend sold them out. That's true. That could be the case as well. Like his friend just, betrayed him. But a lot of the signs show that the opposition might have won this election, because what makes this tricky is that they didn't wait for the election results to be released. The election was supposed to be released yesterday when they took over, So who really won that election? Was it the opposition, Diaz, or the president that was just overthrown? So, yeah, it's a good thing to think about. Let me see your comments. YouthTube wrote, a coordinated coup between the incumbent and the military to prevent the opposition from securing the presidency. After realizing that the votes were not in his favor, that's the word on the ground. Exactly, YouthTube. That's what I'm saying. That's what I've been hearing as well. This coup seems different. This coup is not like the other coups that we've been hearing about. This coup is suspicious. So yeah, I agree with you. That's what the word on the street is, especially like people that are in Guinea-Bissau or connected to the country. What they're saying is, this is not to be celebrated, you guys. This who actually stole our votes and who we wanted is currently arrested, and it was not the president, is what we're hearing. So the Love podcast said, fighting for their own personal comfort at the expense of everyone else's lives. Yeah, it's the selfishness, the greed that we usually talk about. They believe their success, like their need for success, their need for power, that thirst to be able to control things, that's all they care about. They do not care how many lives are lost, how many people's future they're stealing, the future generation, what's gonna happen to them, because we're borrowing all this money with a lot of interest, we're taxing them, even though they don't have enough. They can't even pay for their goods, that is like basic human. It's like there's no humanity if someone is not eating, and that's under your leadership. You are the president. How do you even sleep at night? And you have something to do with it, not the ones that are trying their best. You can't always win, you can't always provide for everyone, I understand that, but the ones that are stealing from their own people, from public funds, how do they sleep at night? Honestly, like, the greed is just out of this world. Todd said, very sus. I would have to agree with you. Very suspicious, right? Yeah. Yeah, Guada said, how can the president, how was, I guess the president was able to talk to the media over the phone even when under arrest? And you're right, I agree with you. But also, to make matters a little bit spicy, he talked to a French outlet. So there's that for you. James said, is this live? Yes, it is. It is live. Rich said, peace. Did their leader got deleted? No, Rich, they didn't delete him. I know what you mean. Some people unalive him, they didn't unalive him. He is currently detained, and he's the one that actually said, I'm being detained. And he spoke to France. In case you just joined, these are the military officers that took over, and currently today as we speak, the general was sworn in as a transitional president for Guinea-Bissau. So no, he was not deleted, and organizations and countries like Portugal, the African Union have condemned what has happened, and they've asked for the release of the president as well as the opposition leader that was arrested, detained. What is this live? Most of this channel's videos are pre-recorded. Yes, yes. Most of them are pre-recorded, but now I think this is personally for me. This is my fourth live stream. So we do live streams Monday through Friday. Everybody, like I think Dimitri is supposed to go up after this, after like 30 minutes. So yeah, we're doing live streams as well as pre-recorded. So yeah, that is correct. Todd, this is live. Yes, thank you. Yes, it is. I think you're giving an answer, right? Um, I would like. Yes, John. John said, I would like to see all African leaders follow in the footsteps of Ibrahim Traore of Burkina Faso. Yeah, that would be the ideal, and that would and ideally, as I said earlier, I don't want people to think that we want the coups to happen. We love coups. No, I wish it could happen the right way. Like just like this case that we're talking about, the people are saying they went out and voted for the opposition. And just because I get, okay, this is, I get allegedly, okay, let me start with that. Allegedly, according to the people that we've heard from, they're saying that the opposition, that people liked the opposition and they wanted to support the opposition. So after the election, when it was about to be announced, the incumbent president knew that it's not going to go in his way, like in his direction. So he came up with this plan to have this coup and get them detained, because now he's not the only one that is detained, but the opposition leader is also detained. You get? So yeah, it's a tricky one. Todd said, depending on how this general political moves in the next politically moves in the next 30 days, that should indicate of any collusion with the former leader. Correct. That is correct. Although it's being reported that they're close, the president and the guy that led the coup, we shall see how it's gonna go. Recorded, yes. Did they overthrow? Hunter asked, did they overthrow puppets for the white man? We don't know as of yet, but most of the times when things like this happen, there's an invisible hand behind the scenes. Like it's almost like a given. It's almost like a certainty. Like you know for a fact that someone else was behind it. So we don't know who was behind it really, but what people are speculating is, even though we don't know who's behind the president, but what they're saying is behind the coup, the president is there, like he's part of it. Mukoro said, so what's going on? I guess you just joined, and hopefully the recap I just did 1 minute ago, you heard. So I don't have to repeat myself, but you can also rewind and watch. But in a nutshell, there was a coup yesterday in Guinea-Bissau, an African country, and the people we thought would celebrate it, but word on the street is it is a coup that was concocted by the actual president that was overthrown because he didn't want to give up his position. There was an election recently, and in that election, the opposition probably got a lot of vote because the people wanted the opposition, is the word on the street. Ow, or AOH. I don't know how to say your name. Do you believe this is an organic overthrow by the people, or could there be a foreign influence? There could be a foreign influence because the people are saying they wanted the election to happen. They went and voted. Basically, that's what people are saying on the ground. So, yeah. Muko said another coup to just enrich themselves. Yeah, there are those kinds of people that we've seen. When you talk about coup, you can also mention Sudan. When the coup happened, when President al-Bashir was overthrown, we were celebrating it. It was the people drove that coup actually to happen with the protest and with them demanding it. But then look at what happened now. It's been hijacked. right now there's a war in Sudan between the army and the RSF, the pre-military. So it's they can also take what when the people are fighting against injustice and dictatorship, they can also use that to flip it around those people, those foreign um, entities, let's say, let's call them. It's very i- we've seen it happen is what I'm trying to say. Even when it's organic, they can find a way to mess with it because people are both like, that's the bottom line, let's be honest. Yes, there's an invisible hand. Yes, they're the ones running the show behind the scenes. Yes, that's very true. But there are willing participants here, our brothers and sisters that are selling us out. That's the truth. If no one agrees, nothing like that will happen. Look at Ibrahim Traore. When allegedly those countries were trying to offer his friends, the people that he is with, the people that are working with him or are in the military, when they're trying to pay them in order to assassinate him, they said no, according to the reports that we've read, right? I don't know how true it is, but they tried to pay them. And when they said no and came back to Traore, that's how he was. At the end of the day, it's because people loved him that he's surviving till now. People are not willing to sell him out, people that are around him. So the ones that are selling us out are the ones that are the problem. Like uh, they're basically, like, as the word indicates, sellouts. So I agree with you. I hope, Dennis said, I hope things turn out good. That's my hope as well. Yes, my hope as well. Um, Tim said, coup in 2025. This is bad. I wonder why you indicated 2025. Why is it relevant that it happened in 2025? John said corruption is killing the potential of Africa. That is so, 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 so true. It's very sad to see. Like, you see the potential. For example, even Guinea-Bissau, the country that we're talking about, you look at their population and it's just over 2 million. Like they're this small, right? And the country has resources, and also it's on the shore. It's by the sea, by the ocean. So much that they can do to provide for their own people. But why would they when they can just eat everything for themselves? John said, I also do not want coup. However, sometimes they are needed to gain structure against those who are I don't want to say it, who are sellouts to those people. And you know who I mean. Look at South Africa take power. I hear you, John. I hear you. Elsie said, keep up the good, truthful reporting around the globe. Thank you, Elsie. Um, Dilroy said, greetings. This one kinda looks and smells fishy. I agree with you. I agree with you completely. Did I miss anything else? Um, Amen to that, Elsie. Elsie said, Africa, the whole continent, will definitely arise again by the grace of Almighty God. Amen. And we're seeing bits of it, right? Like a lot of people used to tell me, what was it, like 5 years ago or 6 years ago, when I talk about, we'll see, Africa will do this or unity and this and that, they're like, you're just a wishful thinker. And I highly doubt that's going to happen. But look, like 2 3 years, fast forward 3 years, has it been 3 years? Yeah, something like that. We're seeing the unity between Burkina Faso, Mali, and Niger, right? Even Senegal is toying with the idea of, having a relationship with them, or So it's great. Like, yes, we haven't seen that happen in the whole of the continent of Africa, like the 54 countries, and it's gonna take time, I'm sure. But just the fact that we're seeing a little bit of that hope, just that light, for me, it's positive. It's great. It's good. Um, Susan said, hey there, family. Hello there, Susan. Welcome. Um, Tim said, the fact how corrupt governments are. Brother said, if they link up with Mali, then it's a win. If not, I don't trust them. I hear you. I hear you. We also have to see not just what they're doing, as you said, in the country, but also what they are doing. What kind of relationships do they have outside of the country, within the continent? Who are they making friends with? Who are they seeing, and who are they having a diplomatic relationship with outside of Africa? And where is their first, second, third travel outside of their country? That is an indicator of how things are going to go as well. You are right. Shan, hi, how are you? Welcome to the live stream. Hi, Soar. Good afternoon to you. To you too. Shan said they're rising because they need to get rid of those other folks that are tearing it down. Ubuntu said, was this a failed attempt or just a boldly reported, a badly reported success? The news seems so confused. It is because of the people on the ground, by the way. The coup was successful, according to them. It's successful, not just successful today. The general that led the coup has been what do you call it? Like, he has been given the position of a transitional president, so he has been sworn in. So basically, it is true. It has happened, but just the word on the street and the people, what they're saying is the election that just happened is what caused it, and people voted for the opposition. So the incumbent president was not very happy about it. So he kind of behind the scenes made this fake coup because the guy that took over was his friend as well, right? So that's what the word on the street is. Yeah. Um, yes. AOH said, yes, rest of Africa need to follow Sahel region example. We agree. Um, okay, let me read a few comments. Then we will see you next. When am I? Monday live stream. John said, if we had unity, there is nothing that could stop us. But there are those who only care about themselves and financial gain instead of our people. If you do not look like us, you have no place there. Brick said, it will be a beautiful thing if the continent unifies. Yes, I 100% agree with you. Shan said, we all need to get together and be African, artists American, but Africans as well, because we are all one. African artist is what you wrote. I'm not clear on that message, but yes, unity, unity, unity. I want to end up by that hashtag unity. And with that, fam, I'll see you on the next one. If there's anything developing regarding the story, I'll come and we'll talk about it. Okay. For now, it's bye. I'll see you on the next live stream, which is Monday. Bye.